Welcome to the Paradox, conversations on healing, purpose, and the human experience. We're a married cardiologist and neurologist navigating medicine, leadership, faith, and life together. In each episode, we explore the tensions and truths that shape how we live, love, and lead, inside and beyond the white coat. This is a space for thoughtful dialogue, honest stories, and healing that goes deeper than medicine. So to start off, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Hope O'Brien. I'm a neurologist who specializes in headache medicine. And I have been practicing since 2009 when I graduated from my residency program. It took 14 years of training to get where I am, but a little caveat, I also went back to school and I have an executive MBA degree. I am a first-generation born Jamaican. I have siblings that are here in the U.S., one older brother and two younger sisters, and we currently live in Cincinnati.
I'm Tom O'Brien, and I'm the cardiologist and a heart failure specialist in addition to that, and then I'm an administrator for our group as well. So a leadership track. So it took me 16 years of training to get finished with all of that after graduating from high school. So undergraduate medical school, residency, and fellowships. And I enjoy what I do, certainly, but it's a lot of work, certainly. We can talk a little bit about how that challenge of getting through that much medical training, how do we balance life in general, and that's part of the things that have given us, a wealth of experiences to draw from, some stories to tell, certainly.
So I also wanted to introduce our other member of the family, Luke, our giant Yorkie. Luke will be 6 years old on the 25th of February, so he'll be celebrating a birthday soon. We didn't expect him to be a giant Yorkie. We thought we were getting a cute little dog I could put in my purse. His mom was 2.5 pounds, dad was 6 pounds, and little Lukey is 15.5 pounds. So he's very cute. I can't fit him in my purse.
He's not fat, y'all, though. He's lanky. So he's grown long arms, long legs, and his ears stay floppy. So for those medical trained people, I think he's a Marfan Yorkie.
No, he's he's got that recessive gene. So that's what made him a giant Yorkie. Anyway, if you see him walking around or barking, that's Luke wanting to get attention. So real quick, why don't we tell our listeners
Why the Paradox?
The Paradox.
Well, we're a pair of docs. You got that already. And the paradox part, the kind of, contradictory kind of positioning there, I think it comes from a lot of things. You heard some of it already, which is two different backgrounds. You came from an immigrant family. I came from, purebred America. So Irish and German descent originally, but that's so many generations ago, it's just we're American. And then black skin, brown skin, I should say, and pretty pale white. I used to tan, not so much anymore. So another paradox there, what it's like to come together in a relationship and still deal with some of that stuff in society that's surprised by that.
Right. So, different backgrounds, different experiences, yet we've been together for over 30 years. We met in college, so we are freshman year college sweethearts. We met at the University of Rochester in Rochester, New York. And funny how we met, for those of you who don't know. I really never dated throughout high school. And so when I went to college, I was very focused on, doing my schoolwork, and, my major was neuroscience, and I wanted to be a neuroscientist. So that was my focus. And, as part of my extracurricular in college, I joined a dance group. It was an amateur dance group with individuals who either were, formally trained in dance and those who weren't, like myself. And we just kind of were getting together to have fun, be active. And so there was a dance that we needed males for, and at the time I knew Tom's roommate because Tom's roommate
randomly assigned college assignment roommate.
and I had met during our senior year in high school because we were picked to go on a trip to Russia together. Our high schools had a program where, we all met and went to a science exchange program to Russia. So I knew him from before college. But anyway, I asked Rob if he would join this dance group so that he could be a part of this couple's dance routine. And he said no, but, ask my roommate. So there was Tom, his roommate. And
I said, yes, sure, why not? It's fun.
He did. I did think he was kind of weird, though, because when I first met him, I remember he was in his dorm room on the floor. He was working on a project.
A painting.
Yes. And I asked him, I said, what are you working on?
Self.
And he said, oh, it's a project. I was like, oh, when is it due? And he was like, oh, not for 3 weeks. I thought, it's not due for 3 weeks. Why are you working on it now? And for me, it'd be the day before. I'm not like that now, but I was definitely a procrastinator back then. You can't do that anymore. But I thought, this is one nerd.
Well,
anyway.
I did get in the dance group. It was fun. And we weren't dancing we weren't coupled up in that dance that you were talking about, but we ended up eventually dancing some dances together.
It was. You remember what the dance was that we...
The first one, Janet Jackson's.
Yeah, it was If.
Doing the number, according to the video photographer. We still got it. Anyway, that was fun. And then we ended up having some dances together, and eventually we started dating, actually later that same freshman year, and the rest is history. So we dated 4.5 years, and then I went on to medical school. You were doing your PhD science track first.
Well, I graduated and started working at a research lab as a research assistant. While he was going through medical school.
And then between first and second year of medical school is when we officially got married. So we had got engaged in spring break of senior year because I was like, uh-oh, she's going to leave if I don't do something to lock it down, put a ring on it, y'all. So I did that, and then we got married during that first and second year that summer, August. So it was 8/8/98. And 8 is the biblical number of new beginnings, so I think that's significant.
It is significant. So we will be celebrating our 28th wedding anniversary in August. Yes, for those of you looking at us thinking you don't look old enough to be married for that long.
That's right, we were 12.
We were 12. Anyway.
We're still on our honeymoon.
Anyway.
And then, what else? Oh, and then I had to get into a residency program.
Yeah.
And you decided to go back to clinical work and get into pass your MCATs to get back into medical school to do clinical medicine, not PhD science.
Yeah. So when I was working as a research assistant, and thinking I want to be a scientist, I was actually working with a neuroscientist. So this was an individual who had a PhD and an MD, and as part of my project, I would go with him to the clinics and do, recruit patients for some of the studies that we were doing. So I was doing studies on patients with Alzheimer's disease, and so I had to learn neurocognitive assessments, and I had to go in and talk to the patients to see if they would be willing to be involved in this research project. So in doing that, I had experience interacting with patients, and at the time I thought, well, it just took so long to get data, analyze the data, and then write the paper, and then publish the paper. It just took so long, while I would see my, preceptor at the time, or the supervisor, the physician I was working with, who was interacting with patients, and I saw that immediate sort of gratification from that.
Make a difference, right?
It did make a difference. And so I decided, not only that, but then it was a calling. I knew that I was called to do medicine. And so during my prayer time, and seeking and asking, like, Lord, where do you see me? Where is my purpose? What should I be doing with my life? I honestly was running away from the call of medicine. And I ran away from it during college because at the time I was in my neuroscience lab. And one of the projects was to give a medicine called levodopa, which is a medicine that you would give patients who had Parkinson's disease, to a rat. And I overdosed my rat accidentally and gave the rat too much medications. I felt terrible. And so I thought, I can't go into medicine. I overdosed a rat. Now, PETA people, please do not write in. The rat was fine. It was absolutely fine. But that gave me pause. Anyway, I also didn't want to go through studying for the MCATs. Yes, again, the paradox. Tom got into medical school as a sophomore and didn't have to take the MCATs. But I had to, go and take the MCATs. And I also remember my advisor at the time in college telling me, Hope, medicine is not your calling. You should be doing something else. So didn't think I should be doing medicine. So kind of hearing her voice, in the background, and the fact that I overdosed my rat. How many of you have had those experiences where you question, where you should be in life or what you should be doing in life? But it was, through prayer and really seeking God and thinking, God, really, what do you want me to do? So I had to stop listening to man's voice and started to listen to his voice and decided to do medicine. And so here I am today. So for that college professor,
So there. So we had to get into a residency program, and you had to get into a medical college, and there's no official thing. We had to, prayerfully find the right place that could accommodate us both. And so there's a whole match to get into the residency program that when you finish medical school. And it's one big day called Match Day, for those who don't know or not in the profession, where all the fourth year or finishing graduating medical students all find out at once, where they've been assigned. And the assignment is made from weeks or months before, of course, interview process, and then an online ranking system. So you go in and you rank in the computer where you want to go. The places that have open positions rank who they want to take, and then the computer system goes poof and puts it all together.
Yes, it's very stressful.
It's very stressful.
Basically, your life is in the hands of a computer.
Algorithm.
Now, in the meantime, remember, I am actually working as a research assistant supporting Tom. I remember I was making...
Yeah, we're living off of your stipend.
Yeah, it was, it was a salary. We call it a stipend because it was so low. It was like, what, $17,000 a year? That we were, anyway.
All right.
That's okay.
We shared one used car that we didn't drive much.
Yes, we sure
walking
did.
Distance.
We had a very
back and
small
forth.
apartment.
Yep,
It was so small we could brush our teeth and use the bathroom at the same time.
Yeah, we had one little set of furniture from Big Lots.
Yeah, we sure did. Where you sat down and you could feel the springs underneath it.
Singular.
Yeah, that's very true.
So when it came time for my match and my ranking, same thing. I tried to approach it from a place of faith, which is a stretch. It was kind of a challenge for me to say, well, where does God want me to be? Because I was really only hearing, either we go to this other place, Cincinnati, Ohio, or we stay where we were, which is in Rochester, New York. So I did what I was, basically told not to do.
But you got to tell them, though, you were applying to a Med-Peds program.
Yeah, I was applying to a Med-Peds program.
And for those of you who don't know, a Med-Peds program, sorry to interrupt, is a very competitive program, number one. And most people, when they're applying to competitive programs, you rank a bunch of programs.
Yeah, like 20 or something.
And at the time when you went to interview, you applied to and interviewed at only...
Well, I interviewed at like 5, and then I decided to rank 2. Cincinnati, and then Rochester, where we were already at. And the Med-Peds, because maybe it's my undecided nature at the time, like a little bit of everything in medicine, do I want to do adults or pediatrics or both? So this is an opportunity to train for both. So match day comes, or the week of match day comes, and a day or two before, you hope not to get a call to the dean's office, but I got a call to the dean's office.
He got a call to the dean's office.
Which means I did not match.
He did not match. Now, this is coming from someone who was valedictorian of his high school class, did very well in college, and here you are in medical school, and he did not match.
And
it was humbling, wasn't it?
Yeah. But somehow I just felt still convicted. Like, okay, it's okay. Convicted, it's what I did was okay.
Yeah.
But I go to the dean's office, and the dean is there, and it's like lunchtime, and there's 1 hour that's just called the scramble. It's crazy, and there was actually 2 or 3 other people that were there, if I recall, but we didn't really, we all ended up getting called there, so we kind of knew what we were all there for, but we're in separate rooms, so we each have a different office that we're kind of dealing with the dean. So I'm there with my dean. They call Hope because she works in the same place, so she's there with me, and the dean is like, what did you do? What happened? Why did you not match? And I said, well, She goes, well, what, how far down the list? How many did you rank? And I said, well, I only ranked 2. She just about fell out of her chair.
Oh my gosh. I've never seen somebody with
like, how could you do this to yourself? Oh,
such condemnation.
You did this to yourself and to us because it doesn't look good when we don't mentor our students. So
what are you thinking?
So I tried to explain, but there's not a good explanation because I felt in my spirit to do that. I mean, medical place is not the right here to talk about that. So anyway, bottom line is I needed to find a match. And I tried to understand, well, where does God want me? You talked about.
Yeah. And in the meantime, I'm applying to medical schools, right? And so because he only ranked 2 programs, Cincinnati and Rochester, right, at the time.
Yeah.
We thought we were staying in Rochester or moving to Cincinnati. I don't know why.
So what they do is in this hour scramble is they do get a printout at like 11:30 of here's any leftover open spots that didn't fill somewhere in residency spots in the country. And so I still had in my mind, I think we're supposed to go to Cincinnati. It was my number 1. And if granted there's not a med ped spot, but I do prefer adult medicine. And so my choice would be an adult medicine spot in Cincinnati. And the dean was again, oh, Tom, don't even get your hopes up.
There's not going to be a spot in Cincinnati. It's a great program. It always fills.
So lo and behold, the print comes out of openings, and there is one spot in the University of Cincinnati internal medicine program. And
it's a prime program
through
the VA.
The prime program, and so you do your clinic at the VA, but you work at it's the University of Cincinnati, and you work at both places. So,
but they thought it was a mistake. They're like, there's never an opening. We're going to call because we think it's a mistake on the printout. They called, and sure enough, it wasn't a mistake.
So then it's to hurry up and get on the phone. Can you get a phone interview quickly in order to get offered the job? So they were trying, and they got on the phone. They did get on the phone, and I had a phone interview. And at the end of it, I thought I sounded good, and presented myself well. And they said, well, thank you, and just hung up. And they didn't give me the offer.
No. In the meantime, you were on the phone with the other
So they got another backup spot. They found a spot in Dayton. And they're like, it's close to Cincinnati. How about this? So I'm on the phone with them.
Well, in the meantime, though, they're telling us or preparing us, look, just be prepared. You may be, basically going to school and working separately for 4 years. If I get into medical school in Rochester and he's in Cincinnati or whatever, just be prepared. Best case scenario, he's in Dayton. I'm in, Cincinnati. Best case scenario.
So Dayton phone interview goes through just fine as well. And then they do, at the end of the conversation, say, hey, we'd like to offer you the spot. The dean is like on pins and needles. And I'm just not feeling it. I'm like, no, this is not Cincinnati. And so I did the unthinkable. And in the middle of that heat of the moment of scramble, and they offer me a job on what's left over, I said, can I call you back? Can I get back to you in 10 minutes? Which is a no.
You don't do that.
You don't do that.
You just don't do that. I don't recommend this for any other
Dean heard me say that, and she fell off her chair again. Like, Tom. Anyway.
And I'm sitting there like, well,
Gotta have faith.
We're like,
the faith is like getting thin here.
As time goes by,
it's
the
about
spots
to run out.
Starts to fill out because whatever he doesn't say yes to, or whatever anybody doesn't say,
you figure someone
yes
else
to, somebody else is going to.
So it was about to be done with this scramble hour, and at the last minute, a secretary runs in from the front of the office and says, "Look what just came across this fax machine," and she hands it over, and it is the contract offer from the one spot left in internal medicine at University of Cincinnati. Even though he didn't say it on the phone, he did want to offer me the spot, and he followed up with it in contract form, and there it was, and God came through.
And that's how we ended up in Cincinnati. Isn't that a great story about faith and believing
against the odds.
Against the odds. But listen, you got to make sure that you are really following what you hear in your spirit.
Yeah, and it was for me certainly a moment that I'll always remember where God came through. But hopefully, it was a testimony for everybody else there too, the dean and everybody else.
It sure was.
That said this isn't going to happen, and it did.
Well, here we are in Cincinnati. 25 years
in
later.
Cincinnati. So we thought we would do the next stint of our career, but we grew roots. And,
yeah, we thought we were going to be in Cincinnati 4 years and out. But I tell people, during our training, it's like they won't let us leave Cincinnati. So here we are. So I actually have a practice here in Cincinnati, and it's a solo practice. It's a concierge headache specialty neurology practice. And you work at
getting to a place where I wasn't supposed to go and didn't get the spot and everything was against me and the dean said it shouldn't have happened. Well, I got here, did my residency, got into a cardiology fellowship, was able to do advanced training in advanced heart failure and transplant, joined the best practice in town, ended up being able to get involved in leadership, and now I'm the president of the group. So God does come through.
Yes, he sure does. That's great.
Amen.
Okay, so what else do we want to talk about? Before we leave you, I did want to acknowledge and congratulate
Carlos
Alcaraz,
who just won the Australian Open.
He won the Australia Open.
But congratulations to
Novak Djokovic as well.
38 years old.
Many congratulations.
In the final.
Because I didn't even think that he was going to be in the tournament.
People
I thought he was. I didn't think he was going to be playing this year. And so, what a pleasant surprise to see that he actually, qualified and made it all the way to the finals.
He is the GOAT.
Just
for men's tennis.
Many congratulations, and again, congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz,
who is well on his way to being,
he's great in his own
most
right
acclaimed
too.
Potentially someday. But right now, I think the most acclaimed is Novak. Still the talk of the town for being able to what he did do in the final again, a Masters Grand Slam final at age 38.
Wow. See, all things are possible if you believe.
So a little current events, a little fun. We got to keep it contemporary.
Okay.
Our podcast.
Well, we're going to let you go, and hopefully you've enjoyed this podcast.
Getting to know us.
Yes.
Getting to know you.
Please feel free to share for anyone you feel like could benefit from it.
Tune in to the next episode coming up shortly, the Paradox.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.